It's Dan from Moyer & Sons, and today I'm changing things up just a little bit. I'm out here at White's Ferry in Poolesville, Maryland, where it connects Poolesville and of course Leesburg, Virginia. And just like White's Ferry, Moyer & Sons has a great connection to Northern Virginia. And for today, we're heading over to the oldest winery in Loudoun County and one of the oldest wineries in Virginia. And I'm here at Willowcroft Farm Vineyards, one of my personal most favorite places in the entire world. Not only was it the first place I tried non-box wine, but I used to work here back in the 2010 range. So here you guys go. We're gonna meet Kelly, we're gonna have a little fun. That's Brian. We'll catch up with him a little bit later. So welcome to Willowcroft. And now here at Willowcroft Farm Vineyards, I actually have one of the most amazing people I've ever met in my entire life here, Kelly. Kelly, say hi. Yeah, she doesn't like cameras that much, but she's doing this for me, and I appreciate it. Actually, Willowcroft has a great history just for me. Actually, located no more than 12 feet from me is where I first tried what wasn't boxed wine in my entire life, right here. What turned into me actually working here for a few years at pouring wine right behind the counter. So if you're ever wondering who those great people are pouring the wine is, I was one of them. So I'm super excited about that. With that, today we're going to try 3 different wines, and we're going to have a little discussion about each wine, and of course, kind of what the worth it is. What of it, at the certain price points, wine should you try when you come here to Willowcroft? So the first we're going to start off with
Willowcroft Assemblage.
And this winery, Assemblage, is actually, this wine is from 2017. Give me a little bit of the background of it.
So Assemblage is our premier Bordeaux-style blend. We have a panel of tasters that come in every year to help us make this wine. It is aged in oak for 18 months, so it's not every year. But anyways, close enough. It is a pure Bordeaux blend. We grow 4 out of the 5 Bordeaux grapes here. We do not grow Malbec, but we have all 4 in this blend. It's 40% Cab Sauv, and then 20% Merlot, 20% Petit Verdot, and 20% Cab Franc. It is delicious.
Well, let's try it first before we go about the deliciousness. So, how are you supposed to officially drink wine? Like, are you supposed to smell it first?
Now you're asking the wrong person. You asked our owner. We never touch the bulb of the glass. We only touch the stem. But you swirl around is mostly to get the scent.
Okay, get a good scent out of it.
Get your nose up in it.
Actually smells really good. So, coming through on the Assemblage, it's a mild taste of some pepper, just a little bit of peppery taste to it. It's full body. The good thing is it comes in quickly to the front of your mouth and then becomes really mellow as it leaves. This is delicious. I would definitely recommend this one when you come in. This is the 2017 blend. Is that what's on right now?
We are currently serving the 2017. Honestly, it's a very, very, it's ready to drink, which is kind of abnormal for a 2017 red. So I do highly recommend it. We don't have any in archive, so this is it for the Assemblage. So we also don't have any future.
Yeah, so get it now.
It's not blended nor bottled yet. So.
What kind of food would go well with this one?
Oh gosh, like steak, like hearty foods, venison. I like it. Well, we usually do Cab Franc, but maybe this year we'll do Assemblage. But every year I make beef stew in the crock pot for Christmas Eve, and we always have. Usually it's Cab Franc. I will make it a point to make it the 2017 Assemblage this year, but it's delicious with like hearty beef stew. So get the Assemblage, enjoy it with a nice beef stew or a wonderful steak. I'm gonna do it with steak, probably 2 days, because I'm not better than that. I'm very biased. I love this place. So now we find ourselves actually in the tasting room area, the second of the 2 tasting rooms here at Willowcroft. Willowcroft being one of the oldest wineries in Virginia, the tasting rooms are very cozy. They're wonderful. You can get a lot of great ambiance here. It's all made of a nice barn, awesome wood as you can tell. Most of the wood actually comes from here on the property. So everything's kind of been reduce, reuse, recycle here, which is actually wonderful. With that, in the second tasting room, we have the Cab Franc. What year is the Cab Franc? 2017.
Ooh, 2017 Cab Franc. Now we're going to try it. Now before we try it, what are the current hours for fall and the winter for Willowcroft?
Right now I think we're going to maintain our same hours. We are currently running Friday through Monday, 11 to 5:30. When it does get colder, however, we do not have a lot of seating outside, so we're going to an indoor reservation system only. also keeping it 21 and over only. Indoors, outside is at your own risk. But yeah, Friday through Sunday. Friday through Monday, 11 to 5:30.
Friday through Monday. Now, to make sure as you do that, check out the website to get the reservations.
Yes. On our homepage on our website, www.willowcroftwine.com, there will be a link to make your reservation.
So start doing that right now. And of course, one of the greatest things about Virginia wineries is that you can go to more than one. So if you're trying to put together a good wine tour, I always say end here because it's amazing, but make sure you get that reservation on time. And as we start up, we're going to do the Cab Franc. Again, grab it by the stem, swirl it in the glass, smell it. Oh, that's a really good nose. Oh, that's brilliant. Okay.
Cab Franc's my absolute favorite. It's got that distinctive cherry flavor, smoky finish. But, back in my day, I've been here for 15 years. At first, Cab Franc was the quintessential Virginia wine, Virginia grape. It still has, some glory for sure, but mostly Petit Verdot and Bordeaux blends have kind of taken over that role. Some white grapes, Viognier, kind of taken over that role, but we really love Cab Franc. We've been making it since the beginning, since 1984.
A lot of wineries that are a little newer, actually, they have vintages that are 2019, 2018, and that's what this is a 2017. So you're already looking at a 3-year-old wine, and that's what's coming up right now. So being one of the older wineries in the area, you actually have that opportunity to have 3-4-year-old wine right there as part of your tasting. This is very mellow. It's wonderful. I could bathe myself in this and be very happy with that while eating cheeses. What makes it better?
Oh gosh, the crop itself was better.
Okay.
So if the crop is better, the wine will be better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
But 2017 was just a dry, hot year. 2016 had more rain. This past year wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
But 2017 was just amazing.
2017 was great. 2018 was not good.
And now we're up in the Prestige Wine Club Loft in the upper barn here at Willowcroft. And with Willowcroft and being a part of a wine club member, what are some of the benefits you get, Kelly?
Oh gosh, let me tell you what the benefits are. We have about almost 400 wine club members. This loft up here was built exclusively for our wine club members to come and enjoy. It's been great since COVID because it's been not a lot of people whatsoever, and they've pretty much had the room to themselves. But wine club members every other month, so 6 times a year, they'll get wine club shipments, hand-selected. The 2 wines are hand-selected by our winemaker, Lou. He does a little write-up, and we put that in, and members come and pick their wines up. They have extra discounts, or discounts are higher. They have discounts on events, and then we have wine club exclusive events just for wine club members. We do have one coming up on November 15th. It is it is pretty much one of the first wine club events we've done all year. And with COVID, we're only going to have 10 people up here at a time, but at least we'll get to see some of our members and, enjoy some time with them. We do have something currently scheduled in December, and it's our annual holiday social as one of our most popular events, so I do hope that we will still be doing that. We haven't made up our mind yet, but yeah, wine club is fun. A lot of great members.
And again, for the vines that are here, some of the oldest, maturest vines in Virginia, coming up with some of the best wines you can possibly have in the area, being a wine club member here is very prestigious. You are getting the best of the best. So when you're thinking about joining a wine club, please come try the wines and sign right up and take advantage of these wonderful rooms and events that are available. And next summer, they're just going to come more and more, so it'll be great. Now, we also have a special guest here, our Albarino representative and expert, Brian. So before we drink our Albarino, Brian, who are you, and tell me about this wine.
I'm Brian Strohmeyer. I'm the assistant winemaker here at Willowcroft. It's basically a team of 2 of us that make our wines, Lou and myself. And today we are tasting an Albarino. We started growing Albarino, and we're one of the few Albarino growers in Virginia. And it's quite sought after grape. We do sell some of our grapes to other wineries, but Albarino it's a Spanish grape, and we do it in 2 different styles. We do a regular steel fermented, which is crisp and acidic and clean, and we also do another reserve, which is what we have today. Now this wine was barrel fermented, in neutral oak, so it doesn't give you that overwhelmingly California toothpick spitter type of a white wine. It's got a very faint hint of the oak, but it gives it a smoother, rounder mouthfeel, more creaminess to the Albarino, which plays well with the high acidity that does come with this grape. So,
well, cheers. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Absolutely. So now we try the Albarino.
I'm pretty sure our first bottle of the Albarino was 2009. I believe so. So we've probably been growing it since 2006 or 2007.
yeah, had to have been 2006, 2007, before I was born.
Very crisp. Very crisp coming through, very creamy. Aftertaste dissolves quickly, which makes it very smooth. I would highly recommend the Albarino. And Brian, with being one of the winemakers here, what makes Willowcroft so special as far as the vineyard goes?
Well, growing grapes in Virginia has always been tough to do. In fact, when Lou first started, he failed his first year and had to replant. So he has since learned how to fail and how to make things work from those failures. And he is sought after by other people in Virginia for the knowledge that he has gained. So he's figured out the correct ways of plantings, the spacing, the orientation to the sun with the rows. So he's found that this grape rather, will stand up to the Virginia environment. Virginia soil is primarily red clay. Red clay just absorbs water, and it makes it very difficult on the vines. I always give the analogy of it's like going to bed with wet socks and wet underwear. You wake up in the morning, you don't feel good. So that's exactly what happens to the vines. They wake up in the morning after being soaked all night long, and they're prone to diseases, to fungus, to insect damage. But what Lou has done is he's figured out all the ways to alleviate those problems of our vines going to bed with wet socks and underwear. So that it's taken a lot of trial and error, a lot of hit and miss, but he's figured out what to do here in Virginia.
Sometimes the mistakes is what makes you better. And again, growing grapes is an exact science, and this is one of the best places for it. When you come to Willowcroft, you're going to drive up a large mountain. You feel like you're getting lost. You're not. You're almost there. But you'll see the vineyard on the side of the mountain. The views here are spectacular. I'll show a couple pictures of that at the end of the video. But it is an amazing place. Please come out. Check them out. Check them out online, which is willowcroft.com.
www.willowcroftwine.com.
And guys, don't be strangers here. Get a reservation. Come on up and be part of the family. Welcome to Willowcroft.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So it was an amazing trip to Willowcroft. Had an amazing time. The big question is, what was worth it? You had the Assemblage, which was around $42 a bottle. Cab Franc, which sat around $34 a bottle. Or the Albarino, that's closer in that $24 range. Now, not a huge white fan, so I'll have to go with and leave the Albarino off to the side. However, between these two, Cab Franc, absolutely the worth it winner. $34 a bottle every single time. You'll never be upset with yourself. You will love it. So get yourself a Cab Franc. To add to that, we actually had an amazing time sitting down with Lou Parker, the owner of Willowcroft, and the person who started all this and started helping out over 50 wineries kind of show up into Loudoun County. So stay on the video just a little bit longer and listen to kind of how Willowcroft got started, the verbal history that you can hear right here. Willowcroft was founded in 1983, am I correct?
Oh, what are you talking about, first vineyard?
First vineyard.
First vineyard, 1980.
1980. Well, this is Lou. He's actually the owner, founder, and the person to put the first vine in. So, Lou, give us a little bit of history about Willowcroft and how all this kind of came to.
All right, well, it's kind of a fun history. I was living in the suburbs in Fairfax. My family two young daughters, and my daughters got involved with a wonderful club, the 4-H Club of Virginia, and became interested in doing projects for the 4-H Club, which involved raising animals. And raising animals in the Fairfax suburb wasn't very popular with our neighbors. So we figured we had to buy a farm. So we came out here and bought this farm in October of '79.
Oh, wow.
And so let's see, I've been here for over 40 years now. The kids came and we bought the farm, and they raised animals, but I was thinking, okay, what can you do on a small, high rocky farm to maybe make a positive cash flow and a profit? And of course, you couldn't do it with corn, or you couldn't do it with soybeans, or high rocky farm was not right for that. And it's hard to do it with animals, farm animals. So I discovered kind of by chance that people were beginning to think about the possibility of growing commercial grapes in Virginia. At that time, in the 70s and until 80, the Extension Service and the USDA were not providing advice to commercial grape farmers in Virginia. They didn't think it was good advice. They thought that it was not possible to successfully have a farm to do that in Virginia. So against the advice, I decided to do it anyway. And the reason was that I was running Hazelton Laboratories, big contract laboratory in Tyson's Corner at that time. And I had a financial analyst working for me that was hired away from me by Barbersville. And Barbersville, one of the first ventures in Virginia in commercial winemaking, run by a huge Italian winemaker, the Zonin family.
Yeah.
The Zonin family. So I figured, somebody that knew what they were doing thought, well, maybe it was possible. So I went and visited Barbersville, learned a little bit about what they were doing, and figured I'd take a chance. And so what had happened was the technology of growing grapes had changed, and because of the wonderful work of a Ukrainian plant pathologist, Dr. Konstantin Frank, it was now deemed maybe possible to grow Vitis vinifera varieties, European grape varieties, in the middle Atlantic states. So I figured I'd give it a try. Of course, I didn't know anything about it, and I called Dr. Frank and said, I'm a commercial, want to start a commercial winery in my small farm in Virginia. Would you sell me the planting stock? It wasn't easy to get planting stock in those days. And he said to me in his Ukrainian accent, English was not one of his native languages, he said, I wouldn't sell stock to you. You don't know what you're doing. And of course, he was right. And I was able to get the vines, the first vines for me, of the vinifera varieties were Chardonnay, Riesling, and Cabernet Sauvignon, and they came from a hobbyist in Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, wow.
So the first grapes here in my vineyard came from Martha's Vineyard, and were planted. I planted, a few dozen of them in what had been the old garden plot here at Willowcroft, and thinking that that would be a good place to start them, and it wasn't. There was much too high a level of nitrogen in the garden plot because the manure from the barn animals had been hauled up there for a century, and it was extremely high in nitrogen. The grapevines took off and grew excessively, and because of that excessive growth, they failed to harden off correctly for the winter, and they were all killed in the first winter of 1980.
Oh, wow.
81 we planted again, and planted in pasture land, and that vineyard's still in existence today. And the vines, some of them are some of the oldest in the state now, because they've been there for almost 20 years, almost 40 years.
Almost 40 years, yeah.
Almost 40 years. So anyhow, that's kind of how we got started. The girls came, and they were young, and they participated in 4-H, and they grew chickens and rabbits and and goats, big emphasis on goats and horses and cattle. I planted and grew grapes. Now the girls are gone, but the grapes are still here.
Well, how many wineries are in Loudoun County itself now?
I understand that we're at about 50 if you include permits in process.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're the first, and the Extension Service prediction that it was a bad bet is the jury's probably still out, but so far so good.
So Lou started what now has turned into almost 50 wineries just in Loudoun County, and has really helped facilitate and explode the Virginia wine culture here throughout the entire state. And you learn, he's a man with a dream who learned how to do something, failed once,
Yep.
but learned from those failures, and it turned into this brilliant winery in this brilliant location with wonderful views and amazing people. Anything you want to add?
Oh, good. It's winemaking is a lifetime of learning, and it's a wonderful thing to do because it involves so many things: agriculture and chemistry and microbiology and politics, and all of them wrapped up in a bottle of wine.
So it's always been a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, cheers, Lou.
Good.
How now, Brad?